Everything's fine. It's going to be okay.
Day one is in the books at the President's Cup. The route may be on.
Okay.
Matt, what are your thoughts here?
Wait. Where's Ben?
Golfbet team here after round one at Royal Montreal. Guys, the vibes were great for the international team. Mackenzie Hughes chugging a beer on the opening tee. Everything's fine until they started to keep score. What happened? Benny?
Brutal day for the internationals. Now look, I'll say they did actually play okay. 3 of the matches got to 18. They were up in 3 of the matches during the day. They were playing pretty good. But as I've said today, there's no moral victories in the President's Cup, and 5-0 duck egg, they say where I'm from the international team. And look, it's a bridge too far in my book from here. I'm sorry, I hate to say it. Trevor Immelman, Ernie Els, Mike Weir, I hope you're not listening, but it's over.
First time we've seen a 5-0 whitewash in a 4-ball match, going back to the first President's Cup back in 1994. Matt, even in Ryder Cups, we usually don't see a team get blanked like this. Ben mentioned they were close. There were a couple of those matches where the internationals were in it. 3 of the matches went to the 18th hole every single time. An American either stuffed it close or made a putt, as was the case with Keegan Bradley. What are your takes off of day one?
Yeah, I mean, no one was up more than 3 until the Scheffler group ended at 3. And it was always at about round 1. There was a couple that got to 2. So it did seem like, hey, at some point, if these guys turn it on, we can get back into this. Even the match 1 got even near the end. I mean, it's pretty brutal for the internationals to end 5-0. I can't stand here and say that I have hope for them to come back and win it. The odds say the same. But maybe everything isn't completely lost after day 1.
Hold on here. You have been, it's not even Ben right now, it's Matt, who has been Mr. Glass Half Full. We've been talking off camera here, trying to prep, looking at the day 2 Foursomes matches that'll get started Friday afternoon. Maybe there's a way to see a 3 out of 5 for the internationals. Are we being too reactionary if we say 10-0 is in play, maybe 9-1 going into tomorrow?
So the thing I hate the most in this world is Ben Everill after round 1, when someone's the first round leader, saying that this thing is over. I can't believe it's over. Oh my God.
Thursday, right?
It's Thursday. It is Thursday, guys. There's so much golf to play. I don't know if they're going to come back and win it, but I do think they can make it competitive. I mean, these guys got embarrassed. You're in Canada and you absolutely got embarrassed in front of your home crowd. The players called for more fans. I think more fans are going to start coming. I think that some tides can be turned tomorrow. I mean, Foursomes is more volatile, but this thing is really way too far from over.
Come on, Matty. Fair dinkum. Seriously? Like, you think they can still, your 3.5 cover, you think that's still on the cards here? The line's 6.5 now.
3.5 covers hard. Anything can happen on Sunday. I do think they win one of these days coming up. Maybe they win tomorrow.
Well,
Maybe they win a 3-2 tomorrow. Does that really help when you're down 5? No, but it's progress.
Well, Adam
they got to make progress.
Yeah, Adam Scott says that's what you've got to do, right? Now, the one thing they've got in their favour is there are a lot of sessions left. Yeah. They have to win every session now. They can't lose a session from here on out. If it is 3-2 tomorrow, they have to then win the Saturday morning 3-2 and the 2-1 or whatever it is, and then they've got to do the same in the afternoon. They have to make inroads every single session. There is zero room for error, and unfortunately, as I said, I just think it's a bridge too far. We're talking about the American team that's very, very good and has a lot of good players on it. Everyone inside the top 25 in the world. I just don't see a path for my boys. You know, if I saw it, I would tell these guys, get on it. But I just can't say. We're playing alternate shot tomorrow. You know, routinely the internationals have absolutely struggled on that. And then the team that was good in practice in alternate shot, Minwoo, Tom Kim, are the ones sitting. So I'm really worried that this could legitimately be 9-1, 10-0 after tomorrow. I hope not, but it is on the cards.
We're going to get into our picks for all the Foursomes matches on Friday. Remember, all week long, Team Golfbet, Team PME, we are going match for match. Sadly, we're in a bit of a hole.
How'd we go?
Only
1 point hole.
1 point.
It's
it's
not a huge hole.
Early Team Pat Mayo experience. So we'll go through those picks as well here at the end. But listen, the odds makers are telling us the story, right? This thing isn't over. It's pretty close to over, right? I mean, the U.S. team has gone from essentially a minus 250 consensus favorite before the tournament started to now, depending on where you shop, you're looking all the way out to minus 1,800. You have to lay $1,800 to win 118 for every $1 you hope to earn back in profit. That's a big number, Matt, and it just feels like they're trying to tell us exactly where this thing is going, which after 5-0 is not that hard to see.
Yeah, I think the big thing is really the mentality of these players. We heard it on Wednesday, Furyk said that he felt they were the underdogs. I mean, clearly USA came in
No
here.
one
No
believed.
one
No one
believed him.
believed.
They were not
They believed it.
underdogs.
Furyk got his guys believing it because they were hungry today. Now, clearly the internationals are way far behind the 8 ball. So can the internationals feel like the underdogs? Can they be like, hey, this is home turf, but it's really not home turf because we're getting smacked? Can they bring that mentality out and absolutely attack tomorrow?
They can.
That's the question.
They can.
And will USA keep their foot on the pedal? Are they really inclined to smack them and be up 10-0 or 9-1? Do they really? I mean, I think that's up for debate. I think the internationals need to come out with some underdog mentality.
Forget the international team. I'm going to look down the barrel here. If there are any Canadians out there that are coming tomorrow, get here and get loud. Honestly, get loud, get aggressive, get fair income fired up. This is ridiculous. You're all so lovely. You're lovely people. It's an awesome country. I love it. You're amazing. But tomorrow is not the day to be nice. Tomorrow is the day to absolutely get raucous, to absolutely bring some heat and try to get the Americans off their game. It was like a training run for them out there. It was like a practice run because they were getting as many cheers as the international team, and you can't have that in this competition. It's a problem that we've had many years. You've got to get loud. You've got to think it's the hockey. Right?
Yeah.
You've got to be at the Canadians game or the Maple Leafs game or whatever it is that you support. Get here and get loud. Otherwise, honestly, well, let's pivot. What we need to pivot, we know the overall market. We know that's done. We need to go into like day 2 correct scores, overall correct scores. You need to go elsewhere if you're going to think bets because it's just over. Overall, it's over.
That's 2 fair dinkums from you, so we're done for the rest of the day. No more fair dinkums until maybe Sunday. But you're right. Listen, there are still ways to build your bankroll, still ways to get involved from a betting perspective. You mentioned, Ben, the day 2 market of who's going to win tomorrow. Put it at a clean slate. The U.S. is about minus 165 to win foursomes. The international is about plus 240 with the tie also in that 3-way market. We mentioned earlier, 4 balls, that was where the internationals were supposed to shine. Foursomes is where the U.S. has had a huge advantage, 56.5 to 23.5, dating back to 2007. And Matt, you said earlier, I think they're going for the throat with the first pairing out, Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay. These guys are the studs that we've seen for the last couple President's Cups. We've seen them together at Ryder Cups. They thrive, especially in foursomes. They're playing Hideki Matsuyama and Sung Jae Im. And for my money, Sung Jae Im was one of the biggest disappointments of the entire day for the internationals. There's a lot of finger pointing that can go on, a lot of missed putts. You think back to Christian Bezuidenhout missing those 2 or 3 putts inside of 8 feet. But Sung Jae, man, you thought he was going to be a rock, and he turned into a really big liability in a pivotal match with Tom Kim against Russell Henley and Scotty Scheffler. Which way are you looking? What are some of the keys to that opening match for you with X and Cantlay?
Yeah, I was very high on Sung Jae and that team yesterday, and they absolutely disappointed. And let me just say, I do think internationals to win day 2 is a decent bet. I don't think you need to look away from that.
Take the 165, minus 165, smash it.
3-2 is in the cards. With that being said, that is not going to happen in this first matchup. I think Xander and Cantlay reunion is not where you want to look for the internationals. Those 2 together is absolutely dynamic. They did great with other people today. Now they come back together. Obviously, 2 of the best golfers in the world. Do not look away from this matchup. I think Xander and Cantlay have that locked.
I want to skip around now. We've got the 5 matches, but one, Ben, I want to talk about is the all-Canadian duo, right? Mike Weir he split up his Canadians on Thursday. He's pairing them together on Friday. We've got Corey Connors and Mackenzie Hughes. Mackenzie Hughes was fired up. He was drinking that beer on the first hole. Maybe he should have played 18 today. I don't know. Corey Connors, 0-5, man. I mean, he's 0-5 all-time in the President's Cup. Desperately wants to get a win and a point in front of the home crowd. They're going up against Wyndham Clark and Tony Finau. Wyndham Clark over-exceeded expectations. I did not expect a lot out of him. He was one of the best players for the Americans in Thursday's opening session. Which way are you leaning there? I feel like this is a pivotal one. If the internationals are going to have a spark, it's got to come from the Canadians, right?
Well, the Golfbet crew is going to go with the Canadians. Of course, I wasn't that confident, to be fair, but the boys have brought me around. They brought me back on board, and I think it is a must-win for Corey Connors especially. 0-5, like you said, in the President's Cup, talking a big game coming in, got the crowd behind them. It's as simple as that. They have to win this match. There's no excuses. They've got everything going in their favour. Wyndham Clark and Tony Finau did play well today, but they're not the greatest stars on this US team. So no excuses, nothing to lose. They have to win this match. We're going to back them. We're going to back the emotion of the occasion and see if they can pull it home.
Matt, as we go through these, we're going through consensus picks from the team here at Golfbet. There was one match on Thursday where we had a tough time. We were kind of at a deadlock. There's one for Friday as well. Walk me through your thoughts here. I know you're seeing a path to an international win on day 2. If they're going to do it, a lot is going to hinge on match 8. Seabez and Jason Day. Bez missed all those putts. He got to bounce back. Up against Max Homa and Brian Harman, the 2 Americans that sat on Thursday. What's the black and yellow take here that gets a point?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys watched every round of the Procore Championship, but I watched every round of the Procore Championship, and Max Homa is absolutely out of sorts. I like the guy, but my God, can I not trust him? Especially in alternate shot, can I not trust him? He is duck hooking shots. He is trying to mess with his swing on the range. I mean, in alt shot, yes, you can mask some of that with someone else taking the drives and such, but Max Homa, I think, is going to put his team in some really bad positions. So it's a fade on that team, Max Homa and Brian Harman, and more of a look at the Seabez J Day team. Honestly, Seabez putted worse than he should have. You know, he's a really good putter, and he putted horrible today. Let's play the numbers game, all right? That's going to bounce back tomorrow, and he's going to pick up some big putts for that duo. So that's really what I'm looking at, is the Seabez putts and the Max Homa bad shots.
So we've gone 2 international wins already after this round.
No. We are still in discussion here because listen, I am riding here for the Americans, Homa and Harman. I think that the analytics and the course setup here at Royal Montreal play a huge role when you look at Foursomes alternate shot, because all 4 of the par 3s are on odd numbered holes. Yeah. So Max Homa's driver has been a huge liability. It doesn't matter. If you tee him off on number 1 on the odds, he only has to hit 5 drives or tee shots outside of par 3s. He's hitting the tee shot on every par 3, and you let Brian Harman, who has been a stud off the tee and is generally one of the better drivers on this U.S. team, you let him handle the 2 par 5s and some of the longer par 4s. I think this is a dynamic that could also come into play for the internationals in the Taylor Pendrith Adam Scott matchup, but this is one where I think that you can put Homa on the odds, have him hit a bunch of irons, lean on Brian Harman, and I don't trust that Bezuidenhout can bounce back. I think he might be broken. Those misses were critical. So I'm going to go the other way. This is still under discussion.
Wait, hang on.
He just said Seabez was broken. We know who's broken. Max Homa's broken.
Let me say, we haven't spoken about the other guy in this, my man Jason Day.
Yeah.
He was told to step up, go out and lead. They didn't win that match, but honestly, he did step up. It wasn't quite 2015 Jason Day out there today, but he made some big putts. He opened with a great putt. He had the strut going. That's when Jason plays well. I really do think his attitude has changed. So there is a chance here for the international team if Seabez rebounds.
I like Will's point of the odd holes. I think it's a very, very good thing to look at. And so let's calculate it. You're saying 5 drives for Max Homa.
Can you use 3
How
on
many
some
of them are par 3s?
4 par 3s and then 5 other holes.
Okay, so he'll probably have to pull the driver out 5 times.
Maybe 4, maybe 3.
I mean, the first hole's 420, and you can hit 3 with there.
Okay, let's say 4 holes he has to drive.
Right.
J-Day and Seabez are up 4. So whatever the odds you would think it would be for the team to be up 4, calculate that into your handicap.
Okay, listen, the Take Smith is ready to go. We're firing on all cylinders here. This is still under discussion. There's a chance I'm going to get outvoted here. If that happens, you at home know why and what happened here. So let's move on. As you mentioned, there's another match here. Adam Scott, Taylor Pendrith. Adam Scott was a little chippy in the press conference in this room afterwards after going down 5-0. It's pretty understandable, but they're up against Sahith Theegala, Colin Morikawa. Ben, what is your thought? What's your key to this match number 7?
Key to this match is Sahith Theegala just keeping it on the planet. If he does it, they'll win, because Colin Morikawa was really good today. I was out watching a lot of that match. They actually played Scott and Min Woo Lee out there today, and I thought Morikawa was potentially one of the better players out there on the ground today. He was hitting it very well. If he continues to do that and give Theegala a couple of great looks, they could be a dominant team. But if Theegala, flails it, or he almost had a shank at one point on a par 5. He tried to lay up and missed the fairway by a mile. If that comes, he's going to put Morikawa under a bit of stress that he's not used to, because he usually hits it so well. Yeah. So that's the potential misnomer there. But Scott and Pendrith, they should be theoretically, pretty straight and narrow. The Pendrith should get the ball off the tee, okay. But again, after what happened today, I have to lean to the US team. I have to lean to Morikawa and Theegala getting it done again.
Yeah, and then I think that all leads up to the anchor match, which for me is going to be fascinating. We've awoken the beast, and maybe the beast is not Scotty Scheffler, and instead it's Russell Henley. because he came out of the woodwork in a big way in his first match on the American
Wasn't he the
team.
worst player you said yesterday?
In
the US team?
We're moving along.
Scheffler and Henley got a point on the board. They're going back. They're running it back in the anchor match on Friday, going up against Siwoo Kim, who sat out play on Thursday, and Ben On. This is one where the Americans are definitely going to be favored in this match. Matt, listen, you had some takes on this American pairing. Have you changed your mind, or do you think that there's maybe a little bit of a weakness in the American duo that was clearly just an emotional catalyst going back to the back and forth with Scotty Scheffler and Tom Kim on that front?
Yeah, I think Furyk is definitely taking the best player and maybe one of the worst players in Russell Henley.
Doubling
One of the
up.
worst
Double
on
down.
the team
Double
as
down.
that
Love
pairing.
it.
Now, is it working? Yeah, it worked today. And I honestly thought that alt shot would probably help Henley out a little bit more. You get Scotty's great irons, he has good drives, and he's been starting to putt a little bit as we saw today. This is a very much, I think, a coin flip match.
Wow.
With Siwoo Kim and Ben On the other side. I don't think the odds will be that, because whenever anyone sees Scotty Scheffler, he's going to be a heavy favorite. So, potentially a live bet situation here and jump on the Scotty once they're down. I'm not 100% believing in Scotty Scheffler in match play after one round. He's won one President's Cup match, and that was today. We can't just immediately jump in and say he's back. Russell Henley is also pretty unproven. Siwoo Kim's a killer. Siwoo Kim is an emotional killer. He was the top point scorer last time with 3, and he got benched. So he's pretty pissed in my mind. I think he's going to come out very angry, and his game probably matches pretty well with Ben On. So I think that might be a very close match.
I will say this. I was on Siwoo Kim early in the week for top international point scorer. You're on Mackenzie Hughes. They were benched today, but guess what? We're still level.
Right
We're
back
still
in.
0-0. So we're in the chance. We're still on with that one. But look, I want to say Siwoo Kim and Ben On, but I can't. As much as I love Siwoo, even in the rout at Liberty National, he was one of the guys that did stand up. He did have a crack, but Scheffler is going to be smashing irons to 7 feet, and he doesn't have to putt them tomorrow. Henley gets to putt them, and that's going to mean a lot of birdies for that. Well, a lot of good holes for that team, and they're going to be very, very tough to beat.
Backing up to your in-play thoughts here, Matt, are you saying so Scheffler and Henley are going to be down early and back them at better odds than what you're going to get pre-match? Is that the angle?
I think Scotty Scheffler and Henley will be probably the most favorited match of the day tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I do think that they will go down or be tied very late. You will get better odds on Scheffler and Henley than the opening odds.
I'll say they'll win 5 and 4 and go nothing but the other way.
Henley Legion, direct your comments not to Golfbet. Direct them to me. It's just me. I like Henley, and I know you guys are out there, big fan base, but I just don't know if he's it in this kind of mentality in this kind of tournament.
It's going to be an interesting day. Hopefully it's a fun day. Hopefully it's a more competitive day than what we saw here on Thursday. And maybe there's a path to getting this thing a little bit closer, or maybe we're facing some record-breaking deficits heading into Saturday's double dip. That'll do it for day one here at Royal Montreal. Stay tuned to Golfbet for all the news, all the updates you're going to need, and hopefully we can find Ben, maybe a warm blanket and a cold seltzer.
3-2 internationals. Ben's going to be back.